Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This person says, my ex-wife and her friend hooked up with members of the Bloodhound Gang. You familiar?
Okay.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. So let's do it like they
think that's
do
something you should brag about.
The Discovery Channel. Yeah, well, exactly. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You made it here. You found us. You love romantic comedies. We do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have Begin Again. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure you subscribe. Apple Podcasts, you might have actually just found us because Apple Podcasts in certain regions had us in the new and noteworthy section.
That was so exciting.
So if this is your first time finding us from that, thank you. Hopefully, you enjoy this. And as well, if you're listening on Apple Music, wherever you're listening, hit a bell icon, a subscribe thing, leave a review, whatever. If you want to reach out, though, you hear something in a podcast and you say, I have feelings about that, at Romcom Rewind.
Or if you really like it.
Yeah, hey, if you like it, that's cool, too. At Romcom Rewind on TikTok and Instagram.
We have a message from Sasha. Hi, I just wanted to reach out to say I recently discovered your podcast and I have been devouring it. You two are so fun and easy to listen to. Was wondering if you would consider doing an episode on the movie Austenland, which in my opinion is one of the greatest rom-coms that hits all of the points. Great story, great outfits, a plot twist, and of course, Jennifer Coolidge. Thank you again for all the laughs.
Jennifer Coolidge actually makes an appearance in this podcast.
What?
Yeah, Sarah doesn't know that yet.
What do you mean?
But I have something about Jennifer Coolidge for today.
Oh, cool. I was like, what? What?
Surprise. She's not
so
in the movie.
Confused.
But she will make an appearance in our podcast.
Cool.
Begin Again, though, is the story of formerly successful record label executive Dan Mulligan, played by one of Sarah's all-time favorites, Mark Ruffalo.
I do love Mark Ruffalo.
Remind us, is he on your Mount Rushmore of rom-com greatness?
No, he's not. We haven't talked about that in a really long time.
Yeah, I know. Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Jude Law, but specifically in The Holiday.
No, not now.
No, not anymore.
No,
okay.
he's not.
Heath Ledger, right?
Oh, I love Heath Ledger. You know what? I think I have to figure that out.
Whoa, so there's an opportunity for a fourth in here, Sarah.
Yeah, I have to review. I'll figure it out within the next few weeks.
Well, will you figure it out by the end of this podcast? Is Mark Ruffalo at least in consideration?
He's a very wonderfully good-looking... Yes, he is.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Ruffalo, Dan, has fallen on tough times. He hasn't booked a successful artist on his record label in years. He's also one of the founders of the label, by the way. He's no longer living with his wife, Miriam, played by Catherine Keener. He has a strained relationship with his daughter, Violet, played by Haley Steinfeld. We believe Dan might be also, abusing alcohol, I think I can say. So it's not going well. Until at a dingy dive bar, he hears this beautiful song being performed by Greta James, played by Keira Knightley. It's hauntingly beautiful. And Dan decides this is what he's been looking for. He's going to make a record with Greta. But then Greta, by the way, was previously dating Dave Cole, who's like an up-and-coming star musician played by Adam Levine, which I think is a very apt person to put in that role. They broke up in a fairly messy way that we'll talk about. And when Dan meets Greta, it is probably her last night in L.A. before she leaves. She wants to get out of there. That's our lead-in for Begin Again. What are your thoughts on this movie?
So what are we doing here?
It's not working. You gotta go.
I'm taking my client list.
It's not Jerry Maguire.
I'm taking my art list. I got to get away from me. Get away. I'm coming back for that. Don't tell your mama I lost my job today. You got money to pay for these?
I'm a kid. I don't have any money on
What
me.
happened to your pocket money?
Well, I spent that on condoms.
No.
This movie is not your typical rom-com, that's for sure. I'm still trying to find the romantic relationship piece of this movie, but I think I've deduced that it isn't about finding love. It's about finding, your love for music, your people, what you want and deserve in life. that, you know, some things may not work out in the end, but that's okay. And that there's more things and better things to come.
I completely agree with you,
Really?
Sarah. I think a central theme is that the love for music and the love for inspiration is part of the romance of this movie.
Yeah. Like, it's not about finding, you know, your partner. It's about finding your love for yourself and finding your love for what you want to do with your life.
Healing. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's deep.
I really agree, Sarah. This was a fun musical change of pace for our podcast, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
Because, I mean, films where music is a central, like, character or component, I always have a predisposition to them, I'll be honest. This one does not disappoint on the musical aspect. There were times where I didn't know where the story would go. Just like you, I'm like, who's the love interest here? And also, who is the actual main character? Am I actually rooting for Mark Ruffalo? Because sometimes don't necessarily love him.
And throughout the movie, I was like, okay, is this the love interest? Is it going to be Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, or is she gonna go back to
Dave Cole,
yeah, Adam Levine? And I was just like,
is he going to go back with his ex-wife, right?
And what am I rooting for? Because
what do I want to happen? I don't know.
What, like, so many emotions. So it was good, though. I really liked it. I liked the ending. It was very satisfying.
Yes, there were a few longing looks between Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley that I'm like, is this?
Oh my God.
Is this the love? I don't know.
Is this the love? Is something going to happen? And then nothing kept happening. And I was just like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I also believe that this was a surprisingly strong film that maybe just a tiny bit takes itself a little too seriously at moments, is all I'm going to say. That's the only real hole I'll poke. Overall, there's a lot to love here. Strong acting performances, and I think a lot of people who just wanted to be in the movie. Like, CeeLo Green was here.
Oh my God.
Adam
yes,
Levine, Mos Def, James Corden, Haley Steinfeld. Like, I think there were a lot of... Like, they kind of had Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo as the two main acting leads, and they were like, all right, who is good at singing who wants to be in a movie? And a bunch of people were like, yeah, I'll do it, sure, why not? That's the impression I got.
Yeah.
There were a lot of musicians who just did it for the love of music, I think.
So it opens with Greta playing an original song, and it turns out she is a songwriter, because it doesn't come out right away that she is in fact a songwriter.
Strange the way they told this story.
Oh my God, yes it was. I was like, okay, I don't get it, and then it goes back, and I'm like,
yeah, they show like the moment at the bar when Dan sees Greta playing, and then they're like, and here's the backstory with Greta, and you're like,
here's
okay,
24 hours earlier,
and here's the backstory with Dan, and you're like 50 minutes into the movie by the time you get back to that moment at the bar. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, so we see her, Greta, and then it goes back to earlier that day. There's a guy hungover who is Mark Ruffalo. Dan. He gets up for the day and then goes back to bed, and then he leaves his apartment like midday, goes into his work, and it turns out, like, I don't know, he is the founder of the record label, but he is really, I don't think he's lost a lot of respect of the people who work there. And on his way to work, he listens to a bunch of songs by artists. He hates them all. He just hasn't found that person yet. He goes to pick up his daughter from school, and he clearly doesn't spend a lot of time with her. They have a very strange relationship, like you were saying.
It's Violet, Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah. Once he gets to work, he does get fired from the company, and then he makes a big scene.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So his getting fired situation is hilarious. So
it is really
he kind of
funny.
walks in on a board meeting. Yeah. He's the founder, and he's just like totally interrupting everything. He brings his daughter into this meeting. Mos Def, amazing by the way, is the other co-founder, and he more or less tells him like, hey man, like,
it is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
We're cutting you loose. You can't be part of this
You're
anymore.
dead weight.
He freaks out. He tries to commandeer another staff member's computer to be like, I'm taking my client list.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I own that art. And he starts pulling art off the wall. Do you have a best getting fired from a workplace story? So this did not happen to me, but I witnessed it.
I'm excited. I witnessed it. Oh my God.
Current workplace, like 8 years ago maybe, there was somebody in the manager's office, like our big general manager. He had somebody in his office.
Okay.
This person was blatantly underperforming. Everybody was aware of it. Except for this poor part-time staff member who's a tall man. He's like 6'3", very boisterous, very out there. He's just, whoa. He was he played like college baseball. He was a pitcher.
Wow.
So he's very like, rah, rah, let's go, guys. Anyway, unbeknownst to him, the general manager was firing this lady in his office. Door closed. Part-timer comes flying around the corner as she swings open the door after having just gotten fired, and him and his full boisterous attitude was like, yo, what's going on? High five. And she like stops him and she's like, no high five. No fucking high five. I just got fired. And she like whirls past him. The manager comes flying after her because he's like, you can't go anywhere. You got fired. Security either needs to escort you out or like whatever.
Yeah.
And this dude was like standing there still with his hand up like, what?
What just happened?
What
my
happened?
God.
I also found a bunch of great getting fired stories on BuzzFeed that I'd love to share.
Oh,
with you.
yes, please. I love these.
We can see if these live up to the level of Dan Mulligan in Begin Again. So this person says, I was working in a small grocery store and we had a new butcher start. He showed up and asked the boss to pay for his taxi because he didn't have any money until payday. He worked a few hours and then left for lunch and never returned. We found out why when we went to close the cash register. He stole about $1,000. Oh
my God.
Off security cameras, you can see him putting the money into his rain boots. The kicker. They called the cops. The cops found out that he went to go to a house to play poker. They showed up at the house. He was still there hours later playing poker with the money still in his boots.
I wonder if he would have made more money, would have you given it back? Just kidding. I know he wouldn't have, but...
Ooh, this person. He slept with the boss's daughter.
Oh, no.
The night that he got hired.
God.
The twist is that daughter is now his wife. And his former boss is now his mother-in-law. So like he got fired that night, but they're like still...
Oh my
God! They go to awkward family dinners together.
Family dinners.
Imagine, hey?
That is very awkward. Wow.
Not quite Dan Mulligan level pulling.
Yeah.
I actually have another story similar to the Dan Mulligan thing from this one. We had a wall of baby photos at my work once.
Oh yes, yeah.
One person quit, like slammed all the doors, leaving the office, got out to his car, realized his baby photo was still in, so he like opened all the doors again. Snatched it off the wall and then walked back out, slamming all the doors on his way out.
Wow,
just to get that baby photo.
You know what?
Back.
Maybe that was the only baby photo that he had. That is quite an exit, though.
But you could also be like,
and somebody sent it to me.
100% of workplaces will accommodate that.
Asking them to send the postage of $2, or
just like, I'm gonna come back and get that, right? Yeah, okay. Goodbye, everybody. So Dan Mulligan pieces out. He got fired.
Yeah, he doesn't get the client list nor the art that he owns. And I say that in quotations. He goes to a bar with his daughter, and this was a funny scene because he forgets his wallet. So he actually says to his daughter, like, "Oh, do you have any money?" And she's like, "No." Like, why? What? No.
I'm 14. No.
Yeah. So they make a run for it. And
see, I thought it was sad. I'm like, oh, your dad is this shitty.
It's definitely sad, but it was funny that he tried to get away and then unsuccessfully got punched in the face.
Haley Steinfeld
successfully got punched in the face.
Sneaky good part of this movie. She was solid.
Yeah, she was fun. She's good. I like her as an actress, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
So he is this is like the sad moments of Dan. He's drunk riding the subway, and then he goes to the bar, and this is the bar that he discovers Greta James. Although throughout this movie, interestingly enough, Greta's last name is never said throughout the movie.
That's right. I found it like by doing research that it's Greta James.
Yes, and
there's no piece of mail that we see Greta James.
No, so the only time you see it is on the album that she ends up making at the end.
Oh, is that a little quick fact?
Yes, it is. Yes. And so he sees her sing the song, and he sees it in a way that, you know, this is the producer coming out in him, where he sees all of these things happening. So he sees it, she's up there without a band, but then he, you know, the piano starts playing and the drums start going and all these things come together to form the band. And, you know, he's digging it like crazy. He's the only one, though.
Oh, yeah. He's vibing. Nobody else is.
And it's really good. Like, it is sneaky good song.
Oh, yeah. And that's when I say, like, the musical aspect of this does
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Pull through. There was a moment where I'm like, is this cheesy? And yeah, it is a little bit, but like the song slaps, as they say.
It slaps. It's a bop. So she thinks he's lying when he says, "Oh, I want to sign you," and she says she's gonna go home and think about it, and we'll call him. So Greta goes home and is watching a video of her and this guy. We then find out, this is kind of where it goes back.
We go back.
We find out that this is...
months ago, probably. We meet Dave Cole.
Adam Levine. And it's a flashback to before this night. Greta and Dave, they're moving to New York City and their apartment is massive. And we find out that, yes, Dave was signed to a label. He's a superstar because one of his songs was in a movie and it launched his career. He's very much becoming a superstar, though. Like, you can see it.
Yes, and Greta is his significant other, but she's kind of his inspiration.
Yes.
Dare I say it, his muse at times.
Yes, and they write music together. That's a big, big piece, is that she actually writes the majority of his songs.
She didn't write the one that was in the film, though.
No.
Is something that the record label points out, but he is kind of like I need her here. She's also my significant other, so.
Right, yes. And so... you know, they're making his album. Greta's always there, bringing coffee for everybody, kind of always hanging around. And then Dave says, "Oh, I'm going to go to LA. I have to go there for a week." You know, and she's all excited. She's like, "Oh my God, we're going to go to LA." And he's like, "No, like you're not. I'm
going to
LA."
Yeah.
So Greta goes to see her friend, James Corden, and they hang out.
What's his name?
Steve.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
you remembered. I didn't.
Steve.
It's just James Corden. Like, he is just him.
Yeah, it's Steve. I mean, which I think is a pretty good name for him in this movie. You know, like Steve. I think that's pretty good.
He's just Steve.
It's like Doug, you know?
Yeah, sure. He could have been Doug.
Yeah.
What else could he have been?
I like Steve.
Josh, probably.
No. Oh,
No? You
yeah,
don't
no,
think
he could be a Josh.
Josh is pretty easy. Yeah.
He could be a Josh.
He could
yeah.
definitely be a Josh.
Yeah. Dave gets back and he tells her, "Oh my gosh, I wrote a new song. Like, I was really inspired by LA." She listens to it because that's what he wants. And she all of a sudden just slaps him. And we all know in that moment, he wrote the song for someone else.
Who is it for?
Mim.
Mim from the label? Mim. Mim, who we met 1 month ago. Mim.
A girl named Mim, who he's known literally for 1 month and was in LA with him. And he breaks up with Greta. And Greta then moves in with Steve. And I'm going to say his name like that for the rest of the podcast.
It was a little bit like, okay. Oh, she just knew that you're cheating on her from the song. She was like tearing up listening to it.
Well, the way that
he couldn't have just written a song.
No, because if you notice, like, you kind of get the vibe that all the songs that they've written together, or the songs that, you know, he's written, etc., always have a meaning. They always have a meaning to them.
He couldn't
I
have
mean,
just
think of
written a
Taylor
song.
Swift.
Right.
All of her songs, any guy who she dates, she writes about.
Yeah, not everybody writes songs as the first person, though. Some people write songs about stories they've heard and stories they want to retell.
For sure. In this case, it's his affair with Mim.
Right. It's his own story of his affair
yeah.
that he's... Yes, okay.
And then decides to come home and play it for his girlfriend, which, like, is the most ridiculously stupid thing to do.
Oh, I've got a theory. He wanted to be caught.
I know. I think so,
Oh,
too.
you agree?
I
Look
do.
at that. We're in agreement.
I do, because, like, he knew right away, and, like, he didn't really, like... To be honest, he was a little exaggerated in his freak out. Like, he, like, leaves the room. And I'm just like, dude, you played it for her. You would have had to have known what her reaction would have been.
Question, do we like James Corden?
Like, I don't know. I feel like he gets so much hate.
He gets so...
And
on social media, I'm surprised. Any clip on TikTok with him, people are just blasting James Corden, and I think, like, oh, I don't know if he's that bad.
Like, I like his carpool karaoke.
Carpool
That's
karaoke's fun.
That's fun. I mean, the...
Are you going to bring up Cats? See, and that, I think, is the genesis of the problem, isn't it?
No.
There was
I
also
don't
the other
think-
movie he did that was
Yes.
kind of, that had some flack.
Yeah, Prom. No, I think it's weird because there were other people in Cats that didn't get the flack that James Corden got. Like Taylor Swift was in Cats.
The Cats felt sexualized, didn't they? Like, it felt a little
super
weird.
Can I run through and then you can continue?
Yeah. Okay.
Taylor Swift, Judi Dench, Idris Elba, James Corden, Jennifer Hudson,
Yep.
Rebel Wilson.
Yep.
They were all in it. And like Jason Derulo, Ian McKellen, like all of these people were in this movie and they did not get half as much flack as James Corden did.
Is it okay? Can we just address the elephant in the room? All of those cats were sexy cats outside of Judi Dench, who's like old, and James Corden, right? Like a rotund cat is not sexy.
A rotund cat.
And like, I don't even know why they had to do that. You could have given him like
Oh my
a normal looking
God.
cat, but no, his cat was kind of, and that's not, okay, all right. Let's do the ranking.
All right.
Late night show host turned actors.
Okay.
Where's the, okay, so we have Jimmy Fallon.
Mhm.
He was in Taxi, Fever Pitch,
Yep.
James Corden, Cats, Begin Again. Craig Ferguson has not been a late night show host for a bit,
Okay.
but he was a mainstay on the Drew Carey Show. He was the executive in The Ugly Truth with Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler. He did voice acting. They did like Brave with Disney. They're like, okay, well, let's get Craig Ferguson to voice act
he
for
did
that.
the Late Late Show
Yeah,
before James Corden.
that's
did.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, but he has a pretty decent acting history.
Right.
Seth Meyers did like MacGruber. Jimmy Kimmel had a lot of voice acting on
my
like
God.
Garfield and
They
Paw Patrol
all
and
get
shit.
them to do a lot of voice acting.
Voice
James
acting.
Corden too.
Probably because they're not actually good actors. Stephen Colbert as well. Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Monsters
Oh
vs.
my
Aliens.
God.
So, as
Wow.
much as I dislike him, is Jimmy Fallon the top
Yes.
for late night
Yes.
show host actors?
Yes. 'Cause I like Jimmy
can't
Fallon.
believe
I know
it.
you don't like
I
Jimmy Fallon,
don't.
but I like Jimmy Fallon. I think he's funny.
I think you could sit next to him.
I'm easily entertained.
I was going to
though.
say, he is too, and I think that's the thing. You could sit next to him in an interview, say anything, and he would laugh at it. And that bothers me. It's not that funny, Jimmy.
Oh, but you know what? Some people like myself are easily entertained.
Like Jimmy.
Like
And
Jimmy and I, we get along.
so does it go like Jimmy Fallon?
Can
I'd put Craig Ferguson in second.
Yeah, I agree. Can I tell you the one thing when I think of Jimmy Fallon, the things that make me like when I think of Jimmy Fallon, there are things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is Jimmy Fallon.
Right. Okay.
When he got his finger almost cut off because his ring, that he's written a children's book.
Okay.
And that he does that really cool lip sync battle.
I was about to
Those are
say,
the
lip
things-
sync battle's got to be in there.
And also he does this thing on the show where he brings puppies out. And how many puppies can you hold at one time? So these are the things that I think of when I think of Jimmy Fallon. I just wanted to tell you.
How many of his episodes have you watched?
Is that not a lot?
No. I'm just wondering, like, you have a very
Specific.
knowledge set for Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, like-
have you watched a single episode in the last year?
No.
Okay.
Why?
No, just because you're like, oh, Jimmy Fallon, the guy who almost lost his finger for the ring, and it's like, oh,
That was a long
is that
time
what he's
ago.
most known for?
No.
Like, I don't think
But in
so.
my eyes.
Right, Sarah's like, right, the puppy guy. Oh,
The
yes.
puppy guy.
Like,
Hey
really?
man, if I could
That's-
sit on a chair and have puppies in my arms, I would do that. Jimmy Fallon, please
Oh,
have me on your
God.
show so I can hold puppies.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'd say Jimmy Fallon won, Craig Ferguson. Then is it James Corden?
Yeah, maybe.
He's
Yeah.
had enough acting roles. Like I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think
the
so.
quantity,
Yes.
based on the amount of time he's been a late night show host,
Yeah,
is
and like
pretty
he's
high.
not awful.
Yeah, like he's fine in this, but there are times
Like, he's fine.
there's the okay, the game is don't dance, and then he plays a song that he tries to get people to
Yeah,
dance.
that was
f***ing annoying, guys.
That
That
was-
was so stupid.
a lot. That was just not necessary.
It was not necessary,
Didn't
is
add
my
any
thing.
value to the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We added no value. It was just a fun party, and then he played this stupid game, and it was annoying. So I get it, maybe.
Your hatred is showing.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't get it all the time.
Right.
Is what
yeah.
I'll say.
Like pick and choose, your times. That's fine.
So Greta, James, and Dave Cole
Yeah.
broken up. He cheated.
Yes.
On her.
Yeah. So Greta's friend Steve says like I'm going to an open mic night that same night. Like when she's dragging her suitcase to his little outside show where no one is around. He says, "Oh, like why don't you come with me?" And she's like, "No." And then she's convinced.
But she's
At
thinking
the
about going
bar.
back to
England.
England. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So So this is where she gets discovered that night. Then the next morning, Dan gets a phone call from Greta. And she's like, okay, yeah, like bring me into your label. Let's talk, whatever. So Dan goes over to his house, which he no longer lives at, but has all of his things there because he lives in an apartment that has nothing but him and his Jaguar sitting outside.
Yeah. Miriam and Violet's
yeah.
house, his wife and kid.
Yes. So he goes over to have a shower and get dressed and everything. And like, this is one of my best scenes. This is my best scene because This is
your best scene? Fascinating.
It's just really funny. I just thought it was really funny, like they're bickering and like their relationship as a whole. Again, we don't know this backstory quite yet with Dan, but the wife and Dan clearly have like the funniest relationship. You can tell that there's still love there, especially with Dan, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I just thought this was a really funny. He goes in, he's like, I'm going to use a shower. I need my suit. Like, I found somebody. I'm really excited about it. And she's just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is bizarre. Like, you can't just come over here and take a shower. And he's like, yes, I can. It's my house. And anyway, it was funny. So Dan brings Greta over to his record label and his partner doesn't like her. She sits there and like melodramatically plays her song for him. And
well, she didn't have a demo CD.
No.
They were driving, and he's like, all right, where's the CD? And she's like, I don't have a demo. And Dan's like, oh, no.
Because she just writes songs.
Yeah, she's just a songwriter. Why wouldn't you have at least told her, hey, record a thing on, like, GarageBand, you know?
Yeah.
Record something real quick.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, exactly. Upload something.
Yeah. So Dan comes up with this idea to record an album in different locations around New York City, which
I feel
I
like it's
thought
actually
was...
been done before.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say that was so cool.
Oh, no, it
I
is
think it's
cool.
so cool. This is like, it's also kind of like my best scene is like them coming up with this idea to do it and like actually going through with it. All of the cool different places that they were doing it. I thought that was so neat.
Oh, it was really fascinating. Yeah. It was the, like your classic rom-com needs a montage moment. It was a fun montage moment.
It was.
You know what it does remind me of?
What?
13 going on 30, Mark Ruffalo once again
my God,
doing the photo shoot throughout the city.
Yep.
And once again, it's a very like eclectic aesthetic is what he's going for, a little bit more retro. Yep. Same here. It's all like violins. We're going to have a cello here, you know.
He brings together all these musicians. Yeah. Goes to see CeeLo Green.
I was going to say CeeLo Green, who has some like strange artist name.
Troublegum, I think his name is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's CeeLo Green, though. He's not acting.
Green.
It's just him.
Yeah.
And he throws him. He's like, yeah, I'll get you a bassist. Like, okay, cool. Thank you, CeeLo.
Yeah, CeeLo Green, he's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But he does give them musicians for free. And then he brings these kids in to sing.
That's total BS.
Why?
So, yeah, they're shooting in an alleyway, and these kids are, like, smashing garbage cans.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll give you guys like a couple bucks to shut up.
And they just want a lighter and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, you are too young.
and then he has the idea like, hey, you guys want to be on an album? And he gets them in front of a mic.
Yeah.
And they're singing.
They're really good.
Having dealt with, I mean, this is in a different way, like kids reading scripts for like commercials, having to deal with that. No offense. If you listening right now have a child and you want to put that child in a commercial, don't do it. They're bad 100% of the time. No. I have met one good kid who could do a good read. That was a theater student.
Oh no!
None of them are good.
All of these kids are in theater.
No, they're smashing garbage cans together.
Well, not these specific kids, but like.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
To get this part, they're all theater kids.
Oh, like the actors?
Yes, the actors.
Yes. The characters in the movie, they're playing kids who are like
one of them
attacking each other with beer bottles in an alleyway. Like these are not kids who are going to be good at this.
I know. One of the kids playing in the alley is actually Mark Ruffalo's son, Keen.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
There. Yeah.
Anyway, that's total BS.
Yes.
They even getting multiples of them in at the same time, they're speaking over each other. They're not talking at the same time.
Okay,
Hello.
you hate the kids, all right?
My name is James, and I love École Secondary
Oh my God. So Greta and Dan pick up Violet from school, and they go and hang out and get ice cream. Greta gives Violet some advice about a boy that Violet likes and says to stop dressing like you're easy. I thought this scene was really funny because, like, we see Violet come out the first time out of school and she's dressed with a crop top, shorts, and heels, which is, like, not a good look. But anyway, so they go shopping and Greta helps her pick some really nice clothes. And Greta also asks her if she wants to be on the album. So they've started recording this album around New York City. Super cool vibes, really great songs, all of Greta's original songs. It's awesome. Then we get into Dan's story. It kind of goes back to what happened with Dan. Dan kind of goes through with Greta what happened with him and his wife.
I left that relationship because I was having a fucking nervous breakdown, and she was out there fucking some other guy, planning how she's gonna start a whole new life with him when I was here taking care of my kid.
She cheated on him.
She cheated on him while away at work for a year, and so everything was fractured, and so he left. And that was kind of what happened with Dan. So they're both in very fractured positions right now. And they kind of need to begin again.
Oh, look at that.
And so he also divulges to Greta their first date in terms of like Miriam and Dan's first date, because she asks, what is this hanging over his rearview mirror?
What is that?
This?
Yeah.
That's a splitter. For 2 headphones going into 1 input.
Bothers me because that's like...
Also, like, I know what a splitter is,
I was
going to
say,
not a musician.
that's like a surgeon not knowing what a scalpel is. Like, you're a musician and you don't know what a splitter is? This is a very common piece of equipment. Anyway,
I think it's a really cute first date idea, though.
Oh.
So, like, you put the splitter in, you listen to it on your own headphones, and you, like, go around, like, listening to all these things, and you just see life pass you by through all of this song. Like, what a really cool way to listen to music. I really liked this.
This was my best scene.
Okay. I should have guessed that.
Because this is one of my favorite things. I love, not even this exactly, but, you know, you had a few bevies at the bar, you get home, you're with your significant other.
Yeah, we've done this.
You go back and forth, like, choosing music.
Yeah, choose your song you want the other to listen to.
Exactly. Or this, you know, you're walking through the city, headphones in, listening to the same thing.
She gets home that evening, and, like, okay, we think at this evening, who's going to hook up? Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley. Like,
they have a longing look. That longing look I was talking about.
No. Like, yeah. Ooh. Well, yes. But she also brings him up to the apartment.
Yeah.
Thinking that Steve is not there. And then he pops up and he's there doing his thing. Anyway, he turns on the TV and says, oh my gosh, or the laptop, and says, your ex just won an award. And of course they get drunk after, and she calls him and leaves a voicemail of a song that she literally just wrote, which, like, she's a really good songwriter.
She's a good songwriter. Song. Yeah, she sends that to Dave Cole.
I thought I died in this moment because I was like, oh my gosh, he is looking probably for a new song, and he's going to steal hers.
I thought that as well. This was such BS.
Oh
Sarah cannot handle not knowing something. She'll, like, read the last page of a book all the time.
I don't always do that.
Okay, the fact that you do it ever
no, I
is
don't.
disgusting. Don't lie. You said what you said. Anyway, so Sarah asks me, she's like, oh my God, does he steal the song? And I'm like, I'm not telling you. And she does you know how you can highlight, like, the bottom?
You can't do it at every streaming service, though.
You can't do it on everyone, but how you can, like, highlight the little time bar there. She was, like, looking at the frames that show up as a preview, trying to figure out if he did it or not.
And then
he doesn't steal the music.
No, he doesn't.
But he reaches out to
Devin was kind enough to say, what are you doing? What are you doing over there? And I'm like, nothing. So I stopped. So I didn't know.
So Dave Cole's been on the road. He's been touring.
Yes.
How much random tail do you think he got on tour?
A lot.
Do you think after him and Mims broke up,
Did you plural her name? Plural?
I couldn't remember if it was Mim or Mims.
Okay. It's just Mim. It's just Mim.
Literally, we see her for 0.5 of a frame.
You literally do. I don't even remember what she looks like.
She's like, hi, I'm Mims.
Yeah. Mim.
Whatever.
It's not Mims.
Okay, so
it's just Mim.
I grabbed from Reddit.
Okay.
Best hooking up with musicians stories.
All right.
You ready for them?
Yes.
Here we go. This person says, a girl I used to have an off and on again with. She had sex with Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish, as well, just, solo artist.
Yeah.
Darius Rucker.
I like how you have to say Hootie.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie.
She said he was a fantastic lay, a perfect gentleman. Even sang to her in the morning as he made her breakfast.
No,
Sarah, how would you feel about it?
My worst nightmare. is being sung to. Although, like, I wonder if
he's
like,
a proper musician,
I was just
though.
about to say, but still, I think if I'm the only one, I don't know. It would depend. Like, if I was doing something, like if I was making breakfast or like doing something and somebody was singing, that's different than me having to sit there and watch them play to me.
So he's making her breakfast and performing to
Yeah,
her.
that's different. And like if I was helping, like if we were just kind of like vibing in the kitchen, that's different than being sung to or at. I don't like that.
Okay, so Sarah's okay with being performed to as long as there's another activity.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. I'm chopping vegetables and singing to you.
Right. And like, am I helping? I'd like that. You know?
doing our taxes while I sing to you. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing swimming laps while singing to you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like that.
backstroke.
Very difficult, but yes.
100%. This person says, my ex-wife and her friend hooked up with members of the Bloodhound Gang. You familiar?
Okay.
You and me, baby. Ain't nothing but mammals. So let's do it like they
think that's
do.
Something you should brag about.
Discovery Channel. Yeah, well, exactly.
Like,
that's
not braggable.
Of all the people to like hooking up with a musician, they might be the strangest.
Oh my god!
Like, hey, you know the like weird Discovery Channel sex people?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I had sex with them.
That music video is something else.
They've got a few very suggestive songs.
Really strange.
Foxtrot, Uniform, Charlie Kilo, that one as well. Very suggestive. I didn't find out about this until I was already her boyfriend and felt it would be a bit shallow to break up with her for it. He says, but seriously, ... The Bloodhound Gang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he knows as well, right?
And now I've got two that are just overall celebrities.
All right. Oh,
because I think they're funny stories.
Okay, I like it.
A good friend of mine had sex with, wait for it, Jennifer Coolidge, baby.
Really?
Yes. Stifler's mom, he says in brackets.
Stifler's mom.
He's only 27. She was 52 at the time.
Wow.
So the whole prowling cougar character she's famous for may be kind of accurate. Although we did hear that story recently she said that she probably hooked up with hundreds of people because of her role in American Pie.
Yeah, Stifler's mom.
So this person, like, this is a completely unrelated story. This person is confirming her saying,
that's wild.
I banged hundreds of dudes for that role. And the last one, my friend's cousin dated Derek Jeter for a little while.
Oh.
Famous Yankees baseball player.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
According to the story, she entered the apartment one day, his apartment, to find him butt-ass naked on his couch watching highlights of himself.
Oh no. Oh no.
Pumping his fist, saying, yeah, Jeets. Yeah, Jeets.
Stop. Oh my god, no. You have to be so full of yourself to do that. Like, think extremely highly of yourself.
Imagine if you came home one day and I had this podcast on full blast.
Oh no.
I was inexplicably naked. And I'm like, yeah, Dev, let's go. Like, what is that?
Oh, no, that's too much for me.
That's a lot.
Way too much.
That is a lot.
Oh, that's awful. So they do finish the album, and they did all these really cool places, rooftops, subways, paddling in Central Park, on a river, on a lake. It's super, super cool. But and yes,
Dave Cole wants to reconnect with Greta James after she gives him that voicemail. It's a beautifully poetic song. He's like, let's meet up. I want to talk to you.
Yeah. So she texts him back and says, yeah, let's meet.
Asshole. I think she throws in like a...
She says, okay, asshole, let's meet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They meet for coffee.
Mm-hmm. And she finds out that him and Mim broke up.
Mims.
And,
yep.
and she shows him her album. The one that she just created, and
he thinks it's the coolest thing ever.
He loves it. He absolutely loves it, and clearly you can tell he's trying to get her back. And then he asks her to listen to his new album, and she hates it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But this is a major growing point for her. She realizes that too much has changed.
I think everything's changed, and I'm just finding it a bit hard to adjust.
I know. It makes sense, but we're just gonna have to find a way to get through this together.
I'm kind of putting words in her mouth, but like, it's too late. Like, it's too far gone.
And I think they both represent, like, he is kind of mainstream media, pop music, I'm going to do what's going to sell the most units.
Yes.
And I'm going to have the big record deal. And as we see by the end of the movie, she does the complete opposite of that.
Dave says, come to my next show in New York City. Like, I really want you to be there. And she goes, I'll only go if you play Lost Stars the way that you and I wrote it.
Yeah.
Because he's revamped the whole song into this pop, eclectic.
It's a Maroon 5 song.
It's a Maroon 5. It is literally his voice on a different song than a Maroon 5 song. Yeah. He kind of contemplates it and he's like, oh, no, you'll really like the way I sing it. Like, come.
Can I say one thing that I did like that this movie did? And I kind of talked about it off the top, but like, they get Justin Timberlake to do a lot of roles that are extremely outside of music. And he probably chooses those roles because they're so far removed musically. Mm-hmm. Adam Levine, I don't know if he's a good actor or not, but in this role, he's very strong.
Oh yeah, like I really liked him in this
because his song, like his singing, is believable. He is a real artist. I'm believing everything that he's doing.
I like that they got them to actually sing. Like they picked people who could actually sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of dubbing it over.
He's good at this.
Yeah.
The acting, I don't know, but like, you know what? He's singing for like 50% of his lines, so it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So before she goes to the show, Greta does end up going to the show. Greta and Dan go to the label to pitch the new album, and they pitch it and they want her. They want her bad. They're like, we're going to put it in a movie. And she's like, no. And she pushes back and says like, why do you guys get all the money and I only get $1 from every unit sold? When we produced it, it was all free. We didn't use a studio. You didn't do anything. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll think about it, blah, blah, blah. And she goes away and she goes to Dave's concert and he sings it. This is like a little bit of a weep warning. Like I kind of got teary during this.
Wow.
Because I thought it was so touching that he sung it the way that they had written it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super, super special.
And he left a guitar on stage to be like, if this person is out there, she's the songwriter, this is her version of the song, if she wants to come up and play, she could.
Yeah, part of me wanted her to go up and play,
Part of me did too.
And then leave after.
But, I think it says more that she refused.
Yeah.
Still.
So she doesn't end up going up there. She actually ends up leaving after the song. She leaves that part of her life behind, which was very, very big of her to just kind of move on and say, like, too much has changed. I'm not going back to that. And so she does go to see Dan and says she doesn't want his label to release the album. She wants to release the album for $1. And that's it, since that's all she would have gotten anyway from the label.
Which is ridiculous to me.
I know, me too.
Even say, like, you're going to do it independently, that's fine. Like, you still got to pay Dan as the producer royalties. You still got to pay those
all the musicians,
artists a little bit. So, like, sell it for $10 a pop. Come on. Like, screw the label. Sure, I'm all for that. Screw the label. Great.
Yeah. Macklemore it up, you know?
But, exactly. He did fantastic. But I think it was like, she's...
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Steeped in her morals.
Definitely. She has her way of doing things and she has her way of seeing the musical world and she wants to stick to her values, which, I mean, I give her credit for.
And we see that Dan has rekindled his relationship with Miriam.
Yes.
Violet was in on the music. She's she actually is a good guitarist. So we're seeing her. He actually says near the end, like, why don't you start a band? I'll manage you. Which, by the way, is never a good vibe.
No.
When the dad is the manager of the...
When any parent manages a child. No. It's not a good idea.
Seen a lot of Britney Spears stuff
Heck yeah.
lately. Not a good look. But for the whole intents and purposes of this movie...
It's great.
It's great. They're reconnecting. He's back with the wife, we think. They seem to have rekindled something. And Greta James has released a successful album for $1.
Yes. Well, and they do ask CeeLo Green's character... Trouble Gum, to share it on, his social media. So I think in the first day, the label says, oh my gosh, 10,000 people have purchased it in the first day. So, $10,000, blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
Could have been $100,000 if he sold it in $10 a pop.
Yeah.
Come on. Are we on to quick facts?
We are. The original working title of the film was Can a Song Save Your Life? The apartment that is given to Greta and Dave in New York City is the real house of Adam Levine and his wife. Keira Knightley had to learn to play guitar for the role. Her husband, musician James Wrighton, offered his help. According to Knightley, his lessons were disastrous and almost led to divorce and murder. Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley spent a couple of weeks hanging out with each other before production began to build their chemistry and their characters and to work on their improvisations. Mark Ruffalo and James Corden both improvised their dialogue throughout the movie. The red electric guitar Adam Levine plays at the end of the movie is his actual guitar that he plays at concerts and is his personal favorite. Scarlett Johansson was cast in the lead role in early stages of production but dropped out.
I could see it.
Yeah, me too. The Electric Lady recording studio was also featured in Nick and Nora's Infinite playlist in 2008.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. When they record the first live song outside, one of the children playing in the alley is Mark Ruffalo's son, Keen. The album Greta releases at the end of the film is titled The Great Outdoors. Director John Carney told Variety in an interview that he considered casting a pop singer as Greta James, including Adele and Florence Welch.
Florence Welch would have been so cool.
Yeah,
I don't know how she is
cool
as an actress, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Former Boyzone vocalist Ronan Keaton vied unsuccessfully for the part of Dave. I'm glad it went to Adam Levine.
He was strong.
In the film, Dave Cole's debut album is titled Jane's Last Day. The title of the album parodies the debut album Songs About Jane by Adam Levine's band Maroon 5. This is the third collaboration between Mark Ruffalo and Catherine Keener. They previously played a couple in Where the Wild Things Are in 2009, and most recently, they were both in The Adam Project that came out in February 2022. Dan's Jaguar has New York license plates, but no New York registration or inspection sticker on its windshield. Haley Steinfeld and Yazing Bey share the same birthday, December 11th. While many know her as a singer, Haley Steinfeld doesn't sing in this movie. When Dan and Greta release her debut album online, her full name on the album cover is revealed to be Greta James, which takes inspiration and eerie similarity from the R&B singer Etta James. Despite her last name being shown on the album and on her credit card during the failed attempt to leave New York City, she is still credited only as Greta.
You missed the controversy between the director, John Carney, had of Keira Knightley.
Yes. Yeah.
So most of this occurred when he was promoting his next film, Sing Street, in 2016.
Okay.
He would say things like, this is a small personal movie with no Keira Knightley's in it. It's really rewarding.
Yeah, total shade.
He said, I'll never make another film with supermodels again, which is Keira Knightley started as a supermodel, although she had been an actress for a long time.
I also didn't know that.
I think she's more known as an actress than a model now.
Yeah.
He said, I just think with Keira, it was like asking her to do something that she could not do. He also said, Sing Street came from his, quote, experience of working, let's face it, with a model on my last film.
Wow.
Very, very...
So I've also read that he took those things back.
He did.
Yeah.
And she did accept his apology. Back in 2019, somebody said, hey, he said these things. He's now apologized. And she did say, like, that she was not shocked by his comments because I guess on set... It's a little contentious.
Interesting.
But he did not mince words about her. He was very upfront, which is, yeah. Honorable mentions.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be yours too, but the soundtrack to this movie is sneaky good and so underrated.
I don't have that.
Okay.
My honorable mention is just Adam Levine's voice. We get a lot of it in this movie. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. He's got a beautiful, beautiful voice. Like I said, acting, he might have been fine. I don't really remember, but I remember...
His
that
voice.
Performance of Lost Stars at the end, impeccable. It was beautiful. His stage presence is acting enough. He did a great job, I think.
Yeah, he was great. I did like him.
I don't know if he could do a non-musical acting role. That might be a little bit too far out of his comfort zone. Has he done anything else since? I don't think so.
I don't think so. That's a good... I mean, he was on The Voice for so long, right?
And that is a big time commitment. Touring, making albums, The Voice, that's got to be like all your time right
For
there.
sure.
What should have beens?
Okay, so my what should have been. Cool marketing for this movie would have been to have the soundtrack available to everyone for $1. Just like Greta does at the end of the movie, releases her album for $1.
$1, and then you donate all that money to a charity like
completely.
Inner City Music for Children or whatever. Yeah. 100%. My what should have been is something about Greta. She doesn't fall in love with anybody.
No.
So who, maybe in even another romantic comedy, who else could she end up with, we think? I haven't figured out exactly who Greta James should end up with, but I think I know the type.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Peter Bretter, Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh my God.
He does that musical play that launches in LA, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do shows in New York or whatever. He's going to get on Broadway, perhaps, maybe. I think she needs a creative mind that is not traditional, because she got the Dave Cole thing, which is the
Pop
media
star.
machine, the record label. It's all going to be
the created music star.
That's right.
Yeah.
She needs the songwriter.
Yes, she needs the creative, grassroots kind of like you keep to your values and you do it for the love of music.
Exactly.
And I think he'll bring to her life fun.
Yes, but
she needs that.
So I love Jason Segel and Mila Kunis ending up together at the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. But like that type of person, if you can think of that type of person in another movie, let me know, because that's who Greta James should ultimately end up with.
I agree.
Overall rewatchability. So I've got chemistry. I'm going to give it a 3.7.
Okay.
The storyline gets a 3.9. Thirst factor is a solid 3. Imagination is a 4.1. Soundtrack is a 4.5. Devin, you're thinking this movie could get in the 4s.
Yeah.
The cheese is a 1.8. There's just a little bit too much cheese in this. And like not the good kind.
Okay.
It's gotten a little moldy. Which gives me an overall score of 3.5 out of 5. You could have been close to a 4 if you cleaned up the cheese a little bit.
Oh my God, you're so funny. That's just blue cheese, okay?
No, it's not. And also, I don't like blue cheese. So
I know, I don't like blue cheese
I don't like it all the time.
I don't like it at all.
Certain things are okay with blue cheese, but mostly no.
My rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry 3.5, storyline 3.75, thirst factor 5. Adam Levine is in it. Hello.
Oh, I kind of forgot about it.
Like, good God.
He doesn't take off his shirt at any moment. Isn't that the appeal of Adam Levine?
Yes, it is, but his face is also nice.
His face is also the appeal. Is he that good looking?
Yes.
Okay, question. He starts off no beard.
I'm going to have to redo this.
Midway through the movie, he has beard.
The beard is a no thank you.
Oh, no thank you to the beard. Okay,
no,
good to know.
No, it's way too bushy. Okay, imagination 3.75, soundtrack 5, cheese 2.5 for an overall score of 3.91.
Oh, wow. You really enjoyed this one.
I did. I liked it. It was a different take to a rom-com, like the love for music was the love.
Oh, yes, I agree. And this has been the Rom-Com Rewind of Begin Again. If you heard anything that you want to talk more about, we actually have a voicemail. 1-705-560-8573. Last time I gave you an extension number, turns out you don't need that. You can just call that number. You get a voicemail. You can, so if you want to leave us a voicemail, we will absolutely get it. We might play it on the pod. As well, Instagram messages are great at Romcom Rewind. You can fire us an email, romcomrewind@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.